Hey guys, it's Teaksy here. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, for the first time, we're going to start to look forward to this year's next installment in the Call of Duty franchise, which we do now know is going to be Black Ops 6 from Treyarch. And today I just want to go through a couple of the things that we know so far through kind of leaks and rumours. And then in the sort of second part of the video, I'm just going to, in no particular order, just throw some ideas out there that I have of things that I'd either like to see in the game or things that I'm hoping don't return. And yeah, I think because it's quite early on, it'll be kind of cool later on the year to look back and see how much of, you know, ends up actually being in the game. So Black Ops 6 is set to be officially revealed on the 9th of June via the Xbox Game Showcase, so we haven't got too long to wait for an official announcement, and I'm sure from that point onwards we're just going to continue to hear more and more throughout the days and months. So what do we know so far? So a lot of this, guys, is just kind of leaks and rumours, things that I've kind of seen floating about online, so please do take this with a pinch of salt, because, you know, every year there's leaks and rumours, and you get to the game and they decide to change their minds and certain things are not there. So Ninja is meant to be in the game as a perk. I think it has to be, right? You know, I think we've learned hopefully from our mistakes now that it doesn't work when it's not a perk, so good to know that it's looking like Ninja will be there as a perk. Tactical Sprint, I believe, will be in the game, obviously from the movement side, which I think is a first for Treyarch games. I personally am not a big fan of Tactical Sprint, but I don't think it's game breaking, right? So I'm kind of happy to look over that one, but I do believe we are going to have Tactical Sprint in the game. In terms of maps, I believe there are some maps returning. I think Grind from BO2 and Firing Range from BO1 are two names that are floating about at the moment. Firing Range, absolutely fine. I've had an awful lot of fun on that map over the years. Always happy to see that return. Grind, again, a map I don't think I've actually ever played it, because I never really played an awful lot of BO2. I think Grind might have been like a map pack DLC map back then. Was it in BO4? I think it might have been. Again, though, I haven't even played it in BO4. But yeah, kind of cool if that map's coming back, because it does look good from what I've seen online. But yeah, they're the two maps floating about as returns at the moment. In terms of score streaks, I don't actually know if it's going to be score streaks or kill streaks yet. I assume, knowing Treyarch, it will be score streaks. But hand cannon and harp returning, which is a big thing. If you've been around here for a while, we use a lot of that over on Cold War, and I do believe the tactical nuke is going to be in the game, but I will touch on this a little bit further in the video. Now, the only other thing, very, very quickly, I've not actually seen it officially announced, but we kind of know it's going to be there, skill-based matchmaking, and I feel like with skill-based matchmaking now, I don't think any of us really like it and want it to be there, but I feel like you have to kind of look past it when looking towards a new game and thinking about how that game's going to be, because I think now it's natural that when a new Call of Duty releases, it's going to be a little bit crazy on release, specifically around the skill-based matchmaking. So they're kind of the things that we know so far, or little leaks and rumours. I'm sure there's lots more out there, but I don't really like to touch on that stuff too much, because, you know, I only really like to just talk about things that I know about and things that I understand. I'm sure there's loads of lists of weapons and maps and perks and all that stuff out there, but just wanted to touch on those bits today. So things that I want to see. So red dots on the minimap, I think it's a big one. Again, I think we've learned from our mistakes now, so hopefully that will be there. 150 health, I think, I'm quite confident that's what it will probably be. Obviously, Treyarch had higher health in Black Ops 4 and Black Ops Cold War. We've obviously had 150 in Modern Warfare 3 as well now, so hopefully we do see 150 in Black Ops 6, because I do think a slightly higher TTK is much better. Map voting, again, it sounds silly, it's a very, very basic thing, but hopefully it's there. I think having the option to vote for maps is always a good thing, rather than kind of being forced onto maps or having to back out if there's a map that you don't like. Spawn system, now the spawn system is always a big part of Call of Duty, and I'm hoping that we have the Cold War spawn system in Black Ops 6, right? You know, I don't know everything about what goes into making a spawn system, but whatever they had in Black Ops Cold War, it worked. You know, there's been a few games in the last few years where the spawns haven't always been that logical or always made that much sense. So hopefully Treyarch are normally quite good at this kind of stuff, and hopefully they use whatever they did in Cold War or something similar here in BO6. I assume that the gunsmith is probably going to return. I would like to see it slightly simplified compared to what we've had in more recent years. I don't so much have a problem with the gunsmith, but I feel like there's just so many attachments. When I look back at Cold War, it was a much more basic gunsmith, but I still used a lot of the same sort of attachments. In Modern Warfare 3, there's just a ridiculous amount of weapons and attachments, and for me, it's just too much, right? It needs to be simplified a little bit more. That's what made Call of Duty so good once upon a time, was the fact that it was quite simple. Appreciate that we have to kind of move with the times, but it would be nice to see it slightly simplified in terms of attachments and all that good stuff. A pick 10 system would be perfect, but we'll see if that's something that we're going to get. Now, talking about the nuke earlier, so apparently the tactical nuke is meant to be in Black Ops 6. Obviously, the nuke was in Black Ops Cold War, or they added it at a later date, and that was the first time there'd ever been a nuke in a Treyarch Call of Duty, and I want to see that come back. So it's good to know that the nuke's there. Hopefully it is a callable nuke as well, because for a lot of years Treyarch just had the nuclear medal rather than kind of actually being able to call in a nuke. And I really liked it in Black Ops Cold War. The fact that it didn't end the game, I actually quite liked that in some ways, because you could kind of get some really high kill games. Sometimes you could use calling in the nuke to kind of, you know, either win a round or to try and extend the time. And I want it to kind of stay in the game like it did in Cold War. Like if you call a nuke in on Cold War, there's like an animation of it at the side of the map, which I thought was a really, really cool effect, and it'd be cool to see that return in Black Ops 6. One thing from Black Ops Cold War that I do not want to see return in Black Ops 6 is the air patrol score streak. Now, I don't really know how similar Black Ops 6 is going to be to Black Ops Cold War. I know initially we thought this year's game was going to be Black Ops Gulf War, so I don't know if that's going to be still set in a similar time, but I don't want to see the air patrol, you know, or at least if it comes in the game, it needs to be looked at, because it's way too powerful in Black Ops Cold War, and it's the one thing that I actually dislike about Cold War. As much as I love Black Ops Cold War, the air patrol score streak was something that I really didn't like. I felt like it was way too powerful. It forced you to play a certain way. It kind of made certain streaks within the game, specifically stuff like VTOLs, chopper gunners, gunships, made them pretty useless. So yeah, I would like to see that if the air patrol returns, it needs to be looked at, but really just get it outright. I don't want to see it in the game. Spawn protection, I don't really know if this is something that's going to go, and it's not a huge deal, but I'm not a big fan of it. Specifically if you get like a streak, like a chopper gunner or something, you shouldn't be shooting at someone and they have 5 seconds to run from outside inside to stop them getting killed, right? You know, we've already got all these things now with skill-based matchmaking and that to protect a certain bracket of players. We don't need stuff like spawn protection, in my opinion, so hopefully that is not there. Would love to see the original prestige system return. Are we ever going to see it? I don't know. You know, you could have a separate prestige system for multiplayer and Warzone and zombies. I think even in Black Ops 3 there was separate prestiges for multiplayer and zombies, so it can be done. And even if you've got the seasons, I still feel like you could do it right. Just you know, stop resetting people each season. I don't like that resetting of levels for me. Just make the level cap higher, but let people keep prestiging. I feel like it's something that they could do if they wanted to. I remember there was something around the release of Modern Warfare 3 where the devs had kind of looked at it, but they weren't sure how it was going to work, so they didn't go ahead with it. So maybe it's something we do get to see return. I'm sure prestige will be there to a certain degree, but I would love to see the original prestige system return. And, you know, instead of getting reset each season, just reset when you prestige, and then maybe once you get to a certain prestige, 10, 15, 20, maybe then you could go on to be level 1000 or level 2500, whatever. There's something they could do there for sure, and they could separate it out across multi, Warzone and zombies, but maybe weapons and stuff still progresses across multiple modes, but the prestiges are separate. I don't know, but I think it's something that could be looked at. In terms of weapons, I'm sure there will be some weapons returning that we've seen in the past. There is a large list of weapons out there. I did see on Twitter somewhere. But one gun I would love to see return is the LC-10. The LC-10 in Black Ops Cold War, one of my all-time favourite weapons, right up there alongside the UMP in Modern Warfare 2. Whether or not we see it return, I don't know, but I wanted to chuck that in there. And yeah, let me know down in the comment section, guys, is there any specific weapons from the Treyarch history you would like to see in Black Ops 6? The next one is a standard one for me. I want to see Demolition in the game. Is it going to be there? Who knows? There is some leaked game modes and Demolition is currently not on the list. Treyarch obviously did put it in Cold War and it was incredibly popular. Still going to this day and age. Has been in most of the Treyarch games except for Black Ops 4, I think. So I'm hoping, if I trust anyone, it's Treyarch. I do trust in Treyarch, so hopefully they do put it in at some point. But yeah, I feel like we need as many variations in game modes as possible. And Demolition, for me, I absolutely love it. And if they put it in the game, they're going to get a lot of hours out of me, that's for sure. I'm sure there'll be a camo grind. Hopefully there's one for multiplayer and zombies again with sort of sensible challenges. Today's video is more about multiplayer, but I'm hoping that zombies will be round based. I don't know if it's going to be open world. I might have read somewhere possibly, but I'm really hoping that it will be round-based, because round-based zombies is just, it's iconic, it's classic, it's how the mode should run. And even for people like me who are not like proper zombies fans, you can jump on to round-based and just kind of play and grind camos and weapons and levels and stuff. So hopefully it kind of returns, because open world it's just for me, it's too confusing, too much going on. Again, simplify it back to what it was. In terms of the maps, I'm hoping there'll be a mixture of classic and new maps. Now, I know this is always a big discussion. People are like, stop remastering maps, stop being lazy. But we're at a point now where there's been so many Call of Duty games, and I think specifically Treyarch have got so many iconic and classic maps that have worked across multiple titles. It would be silly not to use those. I think it's just getting the balance right, and I think it's having that balance on release, and also there needs to be a good set of maps on release as well, not sort of like 8 or 10. And I try not to look back at Cold War too much, because Treyarch were put in a difficult situation with that game, but with 4 years development on this game, I do trust that Treyarch will give us a huge amount of maps, and hopefully there is a mixture in there of new ones, but also sort of the classic ones. I think for me it's just about getting that balance, but I do enjoy seeing some of the old maps, or maybe start with new maps and slowly add in remasters along the way to kind of stop everyone voting like Raid or Nuketown on day one type thing. But you know, we'll kind of see how that works out. And that kind of leads me into the next thing. Hopefully there's plenty of content. I think Sledgehammer have done a great job on Modern Warfare 3, as much as I don't play it. There has been a lot of content specifically on the multiplayer side throughout the year, so hopefully Treyarch will do exactly the same on Cold War, and on Black Ops 6, sorry. And to be fair, back on Cold War, Treyarch were quite good, I thought, with content once they started to get on top of the game, so I have no doubt that there'll be plenty throughout BO6. Calling cards, hopefully they're in the game again, and hopefully they're there, you know, in the game when you plant a bomb, defuse a bomb, call in a kill streak. It just adds that little something to multiplayer, you know, up in the top right hand corner or something. I just think it's such a little thing, but it makes a huge difference for me. And the other thing, sort of challenges and leveling up and camos, hopefully they all pop up in the game as well, because again, they sound like really basic things, but it just adds that little extra something to multiplayer. But anyways guys, that's going to bring us to the end of the video. That is kind of what we know so far and some of my thoughts. Please do let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Are you excited for this year's game? What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? And yeah, if you have enjoyed today's video guys, please do hit the like button down below. If you are brand new around here and want to find your way back for more, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And as always guys, I hope everyone's a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.